Come train legs with me.
Let's go. So we start with glute activations, single leg bridges, and I do 2 to 3 sets of these, 12 to 15 reps. I've speeded these up. These are not how I perform them. And then after that we go straight onto adductors. So 2 sets of these, the first rep range 10 to 12 reps and the second 12 to 15. And what I'm focusing on here is bringing the weight in really nicely and controlled. I've got a yoga block at the back of me as well because I'm quite short. So just to make sure that I've got my legs in the right position. I'm trying not to push down too much on my heels here either, so that I'm feeling it right on the inside of my legs. Nicely crunched over and really squeezing to try and get that last rep out, as you can tell. Then we move on to lying hamstring curls. Now I'm not gonna lie in that these are not the best that I perform them. I'm probably at the end of this weight because it's looking a bit too heavy for me. What you'll see is, although I'm trying to drive my hips in, I am actually lifting my legs quite a bit at the end. But this is another reason why. Record some of your sets as well, and next week I'll probably implement dropping the weight down a bit on this. That tends to happen when it's a low rep range of 6 to 8 because you're really struggling with a higher weight. Then we move on to the beautiful Bulgarian Split Squats. So I'm doing these with a glute bias, trying to keep my front shin elevated so that I can get right deep down, and also to keep my shin straight as possible. So as you can see here, I will go to the death on these. And we've got 2 sets, 10 to 12 reps. I've got the variation where I've got a dumbbell in each hand, which I quite enjoy, and my back foot is pivoted on a bench. I like this setup. I feel that it works for me and I enjoy it. Then we move on to the super squat. So before these 2 sets, I have done quite a few warm-up sets before to make sure that I can get up to the weight on this. I am doing a glute bias version of this as well, and that's because I bottom out on this. I'm a bit too short for the equipment, but I do really enjoy this piece of kit, even though it might not look like it when I get to the end of it. I've recently had to drop quite a bit of weight on this because I just couldn't move it, but it's all about getting good reps out, the best that you can do anyway. And this is my second set, just from a different angle. But as you can see, I can't quite get parallel, but I can still feel it a lot in my glutes. I can feel it in my quads as well, and just basically all over my body. I do really enjoy this piece of equipment. So this is another set, where I'm going for maximum reps. First set is 10 to 12, second set is 12 to 15, but I actually kept the same weight on because I ended up doing 12 I think on that first set, so I thought go for it on the second. And then we move over to one of my favourite pieces of kit, which is the belted squat that we have at Arnold's. On this one I've actually increased on my weight, but this is quite a variable piece of kit, so you can adjust your technique. Really there I should be getting a bit lower, so you'll see that on the second set where I'm going for 12 to 15 reps, I drop the weight. I tend to get deeper into my squat as I progress through the set, and this is something that I become kind of like more conscious of. And here I'm pretty much coming to failure, so I try and train to failure on each of my sets, because I've only got 1 or 2 sets to perform for my working sets. Then here I come on to the second set. I always use the back attachment for it because it really helps me lean into it. And then here I get going, and it's a better camera angle as well so that you can see that I am going just below parallel. And I do need to learn how to not have that focus thing go out on this camera. But as you can probably tell, I'm quite new to this camera. But anyway, I still wanted to include the set because then you can see kind of like the stage that I go to try and elicit muscle growth, which is what we're all after. It's all about building that booty. So I love this piece of equipment. I think it's fabulous. You can adjust your positions as well, to be more quad based or glute. I tend to go for more glute because of the inflexibility within my ankle, because I've got some metal there. Then this, if you know me at all, you will know that this is my absolute favourite piece of kit, and actually the reason why I joined Arnold's. This is the Glute Kickback Panata machine. And so I have 2 sets on here. On my other rotation I have 3, and then going for 10 to 12 reps. I love the connection that you can get on this, and you'll see that I'm not bringing my leg all the way down, because then I feel it in my quads, and I actually feel that my quad actually conks out before my glute does. So after 2 sets of those, I then move on to the hip thrust machine, and this is a small tilt movement, really engaging your glutes and trying to keep your legs as parallel as possible so your shin's straight, so it just puts more emphasis on your glutes, and this is more in a straight position. Everything's in a line, so your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, and then you can really go to a good level of failure by the end of this, as my face shows. Now the last exercise that I have is 2 sets of abductors. First set is 10 to 12, and then the second set is 12 to 15 reps. I've got the yoga block behind me again because I'm short and I want my knees in that correct position, and then I lean forward, tucking myself in so that I can really feel it deep in my glutes. Trying to keep the tempo the same, and then I've pretty much burnt out. And that is one of my leg day rotations.